Mayor Bumbo Radyo Naga dito.
Mhm.
Okay. Actually, pag sinasabing ASEAN, medyo sa ordinary mamayan, medyo hindi masyado nila naintindihan, na hindi nag-grasp kung ano ba talagang kumbaga tangible output ya. Yun ang karamihan na ano sa to ordinary people, sa mga ordinary mamayan sa atin, medyo hindi nila masyado naintindihan
Mhm.
masyado itong ASEAN Summit na ito.
Mhm.
So I think but if you try to look at the significance, yung tinatakol nila ngayon is basically yung halimbawa yung economic development. So they're talking about digital transformation, tapos yung creative technology, infrastructure. Dito yung so ibig sabihin niyan collaboration,
Mhm.
So parang they prepare the ASEAN states, para to pursue this new development in terms of nation building. So more or less ganito yung macro situation ng ASEAN Summit.
Yes po.
Pero I think the follow through should be may mga details ito na medyo hindi na mabalita.
Mhm.
So yun siguro ang kailangan siguro sa susunod, na ano ba talaga ang mga specific, mga micro level na mga next step, tsaka mga deliverables, ano bang progress. Siguro yun ang dapat matalakay siguro at the level siguro sa social media, sa TV, saka kung yung mga expert natin, para mailahad doon sa mamamayan natin kung ano ba talaga totoong nangyayari dito sa ASEAN.
Mhm. Sir Rudy, meron ba kayong balita or may mga nababahagi po ba dyan na ang ating Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. magkakaroon po ng chance or pagkakataon na maka-meet and greet yung mga kababayan din po natin dyan, mga Pilipino po sa Indonesia, Sir Rudy? Kayo bilang chairman din po ng samahan o grupo po ng mga Pinoy dyan po sa Indonesia.
Engage ako, nagpag-contact ko sa Philippine Embassy dito sa Jakarta.
Mhm.
Mukhang walang schedule na meet and greet with PBBM kasi I think that was the agenda yung first visit niya.
Mhm.
Tapos yung sa second visit naman yung sa ASEAN Summit in May.
Mhm.
Sa ano yaman, malayo yun sa Labuan Bajo, which is in East Indonesia.
Mhm.
Tapos ito Jakarta, I think tight yung schedule. So sa pagkakaalam ko, walang scheduled meet and greet with the Filipino community.
Mhm. So Rudy, kung hindi nagkakamali si Bombo Jazz, parang this is the second time na magpupunta po ang Pangulo ng Bansang Pilipinas dyan po sa Indonesia. So ano naman pakiramdam po ninyo bilang isang Pilipino na nandyan po sa naturang bansa, na syempre yung pagpapakita na rin po ng pagpapahalaga sa mga kababayan po natin na nandyan po ng ating Pangulong Marcos?
I think the first visit was during after the election. In fact, Indonesia was the first country na nag-visit the PBBM. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially, I think that was a right move because Indonesia is the lead Indonesian, the lead ASEAN country in Southeast Asia. So I think tama lang yun na nag-visit siya. That's the opportunity where we met. I also personally and my group were there present during that first visit of PBBM dito sa Jakarta. Pagkatapos, the second visit was the 42nd ASEAN Summit in Labuan Bajo, which is if you try to look at the geography, that is below Celebes, yeah. That's quite far from Jakarta. Is maybe 3 hours flight from Jakarta. So that was the second visit, and ito yung pangatlo, itong 43rd ASEAN Summit.
Sir Rudy, makakasama din po natin sa kabilang linya ang ating kasamahan sa Bombo Radyo Naga and Bombo Radyo Kawayan. Pero unahin po natin ang katanungan from Bombo Radyo Kawayan kay Bombo Ezekiel. Ayan, baka meron kang mga nais na tanungin kay Sir Rudy. Go ahead, Bombo Ezekiel.
Okay, maraming salamat Bombo Justin. Anyway, magandang oras po sa inyo, no? Sir Rudy, dito sa Bombo Radyo Kawayan, nais lamang ho naming kumustahin kasi kapag ganito hong ang ating Pangulo or mga higher officials, no, pumupunta sa iba't ibang bansa like dyan ho sa Indonesia, usually yung mga kababayan ho natin kinukuhang pagkakataon para maidulog, no, kung ano ho yung mga major mga concerns ho nila. So as one of the leader din ho ng OFW ho diyan sa Indonesia, ano ho yung mga napapakinggan ho ninyong mga concern ng mga Pinoy ho diyan na nais hong matugunan ng Marcos administration, Sir Rudy?
Actually, sa totoo lang, wala kaming masyadong concern na kumbaga katulad ng mga OFW sa Middle East. Yeah. The profile of the OFW in Indonesia is that of the bulk are professionals dito. So tapos we are in the accounting profession, finance, tapos manufacturing, education, business executives. Ganoon yung profile ng mga Filipino dito sa Indonesia. So actually, kami dapat magtanong, what is it that we can do for the Philippines? Instead of magko-complain kami kung anong kulang. But actually, we want to offer, kasi ganito yung profile dito. May mga Filipino rito na what I call semi-retired at saka retired. Tapos ito, malawak yung experience nila sa Indonesia at saka sa Southeast Asia basically, both Philippines and Indonesia. So, marami silang na-gain na experience na gusto naming makontribute balik sa ating bansa. So kami yung dapat magtanong, why don't we, especially the semi-retired business executives, management, technical professionals, ano ba dapat pwedeng maano namin, maiambag para sa ikabubuti for the betterment of the Philippines? Halimbawa, doon sa trade and investment, after the mga ASEAN high-level meeting, wala kami nakita na follow through doon sa kumbaga nuts and bolt, I call it, So talagang doon sa ipurso mo yung detail para ma-realize. Halimbawa yung mga lessons learned on how Indonesia developed as a country. Ano bang ginagawa? What are the things that are right that they have done? And also the things that are imperfect. Para matuto tayo, not only Indonesia, but we could also learn from Thailand, from Vietnam, from Malaysia. So those are the neighbors na medyo magkahawig atin. So gusto namin yon, our organization wants to contribute on some of the practical experience namin. Yun ang nakita namin na hindi naman kami natatap. So yun lang, so nakikinig lang kami, so we're an inactive or passive participants dito. So we just follow through sa news, balita, ganyan. But deep down in our hearts, we have the desire actually to contribute in any way possible doon sa mga areas of our competence. Yeah. Halimbawa sa sabi ko marami kaming dito na business executives nasa management top positions na medyo retired na or semi-retired. So yung iba sa education din. So marami kaming mga kumbaga collective knowledge and experience na pwede naming i-share. Sa education ba yung K-10, K-12, halimbawa sa investment and trade, yung digital transformation sa Indonesia or sa Southeast Asia, paano ba namin yung ma-share sa Philippines? Kung sinong kausapin namin, sinong counterpart namin. Halimbawa, another one is gusto naming actually we're looking for a venue or a channel, a radio program na pwede naming ma-discuss yung mga what I call talakayan mula sa karatig bansa. Kumbaga, mga aral. Kaya lang wala kaming platform. So, yun, we are just keeping it ourselves. So, instead of us asking, ano bang mga hinaing namin rito, wala masyado eh. Of course, there are, but we manage it ourselves to the extent that we don't want to become a burden of the Philippines. But in fact, conversely, we want to contribute for the betterment of the Philippines.
Oo, nako. Anyway, Sir Rudy, napakaganda, no? Yung notion kasi ng iba, usually, parang ang Philippine dapat duminig, kumbaga, no? Or makikinig sa mga OFWs natin sa mga major concern, mga problema, pero kaiba dyan sa Indonesia. But anyway, I don't know, Sir Rudy, kung natanong na rin, no, ng ating kapatid na yung pila dyan sa may Bombo Radyo Dagupan, but one thing more na gusto kong itanong, kung ganyan pala na marami kayong mga naisong i-share na mga best practices na nangyayari ho dyan sa may Indonesia, wala ho bang chance, no, pagkakataon na kahit man lang siguro a couple of hours na makapanayam, makadaupan ng mga Filipino leaders natin, ng ating Pangulo ho diyan sa Indonesia?
Actually, yun ang ini-explore ko during the last visit of Speaker Romualdez dito sa Philippine Embassy na siguro pag next visit of mga natin high PBBM or high level officials dito, dapat may meet and greet which is social in character. Tapos meron ding serious talk na component. Na yung mga serious talk siguro pwedeng selected yon or limited eh. So yun lang sa may mga time that you have the passion to actually do and they have the expertise and the knowledge. and also the time and the passion to do it. Siguro yun maging limited siya, pero yung pwede sa kalahatan. So but hindi pa nangyayari, so I really hope na siguro next year or next visit, marami kaming i-share. Halimbawa, a good example to that is dito sa ASEAN Summit, nag-showcase yung Indonesia ng ano nila, yung sa atin equivalent is GOCC, Government Owned and Controlled Corporation. Dito sa Indonesia, dominant yan. So the question dito is, if you try to analyze deeply, which one is a better governance? Is it a government-owned corporation or private? Halimbawa, sa electricity. Sa Indonesia, yung electricity is only one company, which is the National Electric Company. So if the government mandates that National Electric Company to provide electricity nationwide, from cities to smallest provinces, they will do it because that is the mandate of the government. Whatever it cost, gagawin nila yon. Okay? At pag medyo hindi kaya ng ano, then adjust the pricing as well. Para ano, so that's the question. Sa ating kasi cooperative, tapos may mga private power plants owned by the private sector. But sa Indonesia, it's just actually 100% owned by the government. That is just an example na pwede namin i-share yung ano bang nangyari sa Indonesia. Of course, Indonesia is not a perfect country. Pero done right, which I think we can learn.
Oo, anyway, sige. Sir, singit lang ako, no? Bombo Justin and of course kay Bombo Lea. Isa sa hindi maiwasan na tanong regarding may mga information ho ba kung sakaling with Marcos administration na muling kakausapin si President Widodo regarding dito sa ating kababayan na si Mary Jane Veloso? Sir, any information about that?
Walang information dyan. In fact, I think the standard answer of the Philippine Embassy officials pag may mga side questioning or side sa mga gatherings ba na ma-mention yun, the general answer is that is being taken care of by the local attorney with the assistance of the Philippine Embassy. So ganun yung standard, but I think actually sa totoo lang, may mga ano sa Indonesia, merong sinasabing formal channel, meron ding back channel or indirect. Very effective yung indirect, in fact, not only the formal channel. So I think may mga Pilipino rin na may kakayahan tumulong, kaya lang hindi natatap. Kaya sa ako, may mga ano rito because halimbawa, ako I've been here in Indonesia for 39 years. So I've accumulated also contacts. Pero in fact, during last time, I lead yung I brought through our emissary the personal letter of Mary Jane Veloso to the President Joko Widodo. Yung appeal niya, hindi naman siya naghingi ng kumbaga clemency or pardon, but humanitarian consideration. So in a way, the language will effectively asking that pwede bang consideration kasi nasa ano na siya nasa president na yung destiny ni Mary Jane.
Anyway, sige. With that, Sir Rudy, no, bibigay ho namin yung iba pang mga pagkakataon para magtanong yung ating mga kapatid na impilan. Anyway, maraming salamat, Sir Rudy. Mag-ingat ho kayo dyan. Back to you, Bombo Justin.
Ayan, maraming salamat, Bombo Ezekiel. Naalala din po natin, Sir Rudy, nung last din po natin kayo nakapanayam, natalakay din natin yung kaso ni Mary Jane Veloso at good thing nakatulong din kahit paano yung pagbisita ng ating Pangulong Marcos dyan sa mga nakalipas na mga buwan, and nabanggit nyo nga ang pagpapahalaga rin ng Indonesia sa family and of course maging sa batas na sinusunod po dyan, and yung pinaka-recent o pinaka-huli na balita natin na tungkol dito sa kaso ni Mary Jane is yung nakabisita yung family po niya dyan. Maski sa ganoong paraan, kahit paano nang matapos ang ilang taon nagkita-kita yung magpapamilya dyan at nakita nila yung kanilang ina na si Mary Jane Veloso. At Sir Rudy, dakuan din natin yung ating kasamahan dyan naman po sa Bombo Radyo Naga, dahil si Bombo Lea mayroon din pong mga katanungan sa inyo, sir. Bombo Lea, sa iyong katanungan kay Sir Rudy, go ahead.
maraming salamat, Bambo Justin ng Bambo Radyo Dagupan. And magandang araw din kay Sir Rudy and muna naman dito sa Bambo Radyo Naga. Para na lang po Sir Rudy, para naman sa aming mga katanungan mula dito sa aming himpilan. So dito po marami po yung mga paghahanda na ginagawa naman ng Indonesia para dito sa nasabing summit. And isa na din po sa nagiging kagustuhan ng ating presidente na maisagawa din itong nasabing event dito sa atin. Ano po kaya yung mga naging magandang preparations dyan ng Indonesia na pwede po nating ma-apply dito sa Pilipinas, lalo na po at hindi lang ito basta-bastang event?
Okay, yung traditional is nandoon na yon, yung halimbawa yung between ASEAN meeting tapos yung with partners. Halimbawa yung with partners, I think mag-umpisa today, saka tomorrow. So pretty much standard na yon. Like example, ASEAN with China, ASEAN with South Korea, ASEAN with Japan, ASEAN with Canada ngayon, US, mga ganyan eh. So pretty much standard na yan. Every ASEAN summit nandiyan yan. I think yung bago na ginawa ng Indonesia ngayon is basically to follow through doon sa yung baga meeting nila doon sa Labuan Bajo in May 2023. So meron ng mga concrete deliverables na binigay ng Indonesia. Halimbawa in the area of yung green technology or clean technology. So the Indonesian government or mga companies nila, principally government controlled corporations, should the deliverables, yung progress nila, yung iba in progress, yung iba talagang nagawa na for the last 3-4 years, that they're able to build yung mga solar farms, yung cable nila, yung cable na dana ng electricity, from, kumbaga sa atin, equivalent from Batanes to Hulu. Progress yan, ongoing. So pinakita nila sa mga leaders. Pagkatapos yung satellite technology nila, paano natutulong sa digitalization, yung halimbawa cloud computing nila. So they're collaborating with countries like Australia, France, Singapore. So I think sad to say na medyo hindi tayo masyado na-indon sa circle in terms of ng focus. Kasi we have also one of the things na problem sa atin is we're a country that is an island, archipelagic country, na hindi tayo landlocked sa Southeast Asia. Although Indonesia is not a landlocked, basically, landlocked din sa Borneo with Brunei, Malaysia. Pero tayo lang ang country na hindi landlocked sa Southeast Asia. If you're to look at Singapore, landlocked sa Malaysia, Malaysia landlocked sa Cambodia, sa Vietnam, landlocked sa Thailand. So, medyo madaling di-develop. So, the biggest challenge atin is actually to engage these countries for us to be able to be part. So, kaya lang, yun nga, I'm not sure kung napag-usapan niya sa atin or mayroong mga task force na tagang gumagawa. Halimbawa na lang yung sabi nilang sa atin, BI Pinyaga, yung East Asian Growth Area within Brunei, Indonesia, Thailand at saka Philippines. East Asia Growth Area. If you look at that, matagal na itong East Asian Growth Area. Pero anong nangyari diyan sa Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, Zamboanga? Wala masyado rin eh. But if you try to look at the growth area of Thailand, Malaysia, tapos Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, continuous yung development. The biggest challenge sa atin is malayo tayo, tapos mayroon pang peace and order problem. So dapat yan continue yung detail ang trabaho dito, follow through. Hindi pwede yung meeting lang, very high level, tapos walang nangyari bukas. So these are examples, yung halimbawa yung mga nila, digital technology nila, yung payment. In fact, one of the things na very important dito sa Indonesia is yung tinatawag nilang local currency transactions. Actually, soon you will probably realize in the Philippines that when you pay your purchases, you can just use QRIS, which is Quick Response Indonesian Standard. Kasi the news that I've got is by I think later this year, Indonesia will also, Philippines will also adopt that QRIS system. So, pwede ka nang bumili ng mga products sa online from Indonesia just using So, hindi na kailangan wala ng dollar if you try to purchase. You just use local currency. But if you bili ka ng sa ASEAN countries, Vietnam, bili ka, you just peso. No need to convert your peso to US dollar. The same thing yung Malaysian ringgit, kung bumili na Pilipinas, they use their Malaysian ringgit. initiated ito by Indonesia at saka they're moving forward na ganyan. So, eliminate yung exchange rate issues kasi your local currency can be accepted immediately without conversion by the other ASEAN countries. At ito nag-i-expand na hindi lang sa ASEAN. It has already been with China. So, going ito in a small way, yeah. Pero I think it will become a big way, you know.
Alright, so dito po talaga Sir Rudy, ano talagang kinakailangan pa na gawin na ng Pilipinas yung mga iba't iba pang sabi nga mga aktibidad and of course sa pagpapalakas pa ng ating bansa naman para maisagawa din itong event dito naman sa Pilipinas. So Sir, dito Sir Rudy, para naman po sa pangkunin naming katanungan, so maliban po sa mga special event na dadaluhan ni President Marcos Jr., may mga personal na invitation po ba itong natanggap o mga balak na bisitahin pa dyan sa Indonesia?
What I know is that the PBBM will have a bilateral talks with the Prime Minister of Cambodia, the tapos South Korea, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. If I have the opportunity to suggest, actually, with the problem of bigas sa atin, di ba? Bigas, I think rice is a big problem sa atin ngayon. It's a big issue. I think I would suggest na use this opportunity to have a bilateral talk with Cambodia, okay yan, because they export rice. Vietnam, tama yan, because they export rice as well. We need rice for now. Pagkatapos, supposedly Indonesia, every single ASEAN leader, talagang they want to have a direct talk with the leader of Indonesia because Indonesia is the largest among the ASEAN countries. Tapos ito yung leader, malaki yung voice. Pag sinasabing Indonesia, ito yung direction, majority of the leaders of ASEAN follows Indonesia. So dapat ganun ka-importante yung Indonesia actually, sa totoo lang. So my suggestion is every time may mga leaders tayo, especially at the president level, dapat itong Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, those are the big players, big countries, you know. Especially we need rice because this is opportunity to also pursue learnings and follow through on rice technology. Paano ba naging sufficient ng rice ang Vietnam? Paano ba sila naging net exporter? Tapos yung Thailand, ano bang ginagawa nila? We are both agrarian countries, you know. They learned rice technology in Los Baños way back in early 70s. But now, they become supplier of rice to us. Indonesia also the same thing. Although Indonesia now from time to time exports from surplus, sometimes the import, you know. But again, the challenge is if we have to learn, I think we have to learn from Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia. That's basically it. Southeast Asia.
Alright, maraming salamat po Sir Rudy sa pagsagot naman po ng mga katanungan mula dito sa aming himpilan. Yan, Bombo Justin, maraming salamat din and back to you.
Maraming salamat, Bombo Leia, and kay Sir Rudy. Alam mo Sir Rudy, ang dami kong nais na mga tanong po sa inyo, lalong-lalo na yung sitwasyon ng mga Pilipino dyan kasi nakakatuwa, sabi nyo, hindi katulad sa ibang mga bansa, yung sitwasyon ng mga Pilipino po dyan sa Indonesia at mataas yung pagtingin ng Indonesia sa mga Pinoy po na nagtatrabaho po dyan. So siguro, some other time, mag-schedule po ulit tayo ng pagkakataon na maipagpatuloy yung iba pa pong mga usapin, talakayin at sa sitwasyon po, sa kalagayan po ng mga Pilipino dyan sa Indonesia. And maraming salamat Sir Rudy sa pagkakataon na kayo po ay aming makasama dito po sa ating palatutunan. Siguro, any message Sir Rudy bago po namin kayo pakawalan? Go ahead po.
Yeah, actually, gusto ko lang i-highlight na sa amin yung AFOCOM, Alliance of Filipino Workers Community, marami yung especially mga senior leaders na namin, semi-retired na, tsaka yung mga expert in their own field. Yeah. Gusto talaga deep down in our hearts, we want to help the Philippines. Ano naman gagawin namin dito? We are already at the time, at the particular point in our life na talagang gusto namin ibalik whatever we have gained over these years. Okay, number one. So, kailangan namin ng we're proposing actually, we're looking for a radio station in the Philippines na pwede naming makakonect doon sa program naming talakayan, aral mula sa karatig bansa. So, yung karatig bansa, I'm referring to Southeast Asian neighbors, yeah. Because we, sad to say, Philippines progressed, but we progressed less, what is this, kumbaga, yung neighbors natin that I mentioned, they progress faster than us.
Mhm.
So ano bang, yun gusto namin i-share yung mga lessons na ganyan. Yeah. So I hope if you could contact me, we could have a separate meeting on this, so meeting, tapos pwede namin ma-explain in much detail